you've been able to do it here on the first, and well done. Hopefully someone from the stable got the first four. It paid very big, 46,000 plus.
Wow, yeah, I normally do pop up on the big odd ones, but I've just been lucky enough at Eric and Glenn that they've stuck by me for this long and give me the opportunities to drive these horses.
This horse here, you've had a good affinity with him. You seem to you get on well, you know the horse well, and he races well for you.
Yeah, he's my favourite. Eric sort of lets me drive him everywhere, which I'm really grateful for. And yeah, he's been so good to me, I can't complain.
Tonight, a little bit of a surprise. Madiba held the lead, which really put you right into the race from that point.
Yeah, I actually couldn't believe it. And down the back, I was sort of thinking to myself, I'm like, shit, fella, this is our time to shine, I think, tonight. And yeah, and then when, we had enough time to either come to the outside and I seen no one was gaining ground, so I thought, we'll just stick to the sprint lane, and yeah, he was good enough.
Got the job done here with a beautiful win tonight. Well done.
Yeah, no, he's a nice horse in the making, hopefully, Rob. Like, he's just getting better and better. And, look, he's got a good turn of foot. And I got held up last week and got out late. And I thought there was just too much speed inside me tonight. So I thought I'd go back and just hope. And, yeah, look, it worked out pretty good because they went so quick early. And then he was able to get over the top of them.
He does have the ingredients here to suggest there's plenty more to come. As you mentioned, he sits off speed. We just saw tonight a 152.7 mile rate, and he loved it. He got to the line strong and gives you a good indication that there's plenty more to come.
Yeah, look, he's strong, and like you said, and look, he can do it both ways, but I've just been looking after him and using his speed to his own advantage. And look, it is hard to come from behind on this track, so he's done a super job, and the time's pretty good for him too. And the owners, the mare's been a great horse for Jodie and myself, Spitfire Shadow, because she's had Art Shadow and the other one that Christian Shadow, and I've had this bloke. So look, they've all been great horses out of the mare, and the mare's been super to us. And look, I went halves with the owner in this one, so look, I was just hoping that he could turn out all right, and he has.
Must be absolutely stoked at this point of time.
Nah, I'm over the moon. Sorry, I'm a bit speechless. Like, this horse is the first for me. He was my first horse I ever drove in a race. He was my first Trotters Cup winner, and now he's my first Metro winner. So it's pretty overwhelming at the moment.
Yeah, that's okay, and I'll let you take a couple of deep breaths. And I know you've got a lot of support, and it's pretty emotional when you're involved and connected with a horse, and you share so much enjoyment with those moments. And as you mentioned, to come through your first winner, first Cup winner, first Metro winner, all on the one horse. Talk us through the race, because you drew wide. I was sort of watching at the start to see where you were going to end up. There was a lot of speed inside you, which made it a bit hard to really press forward.
Yeah, well, there was a fair bit of speed on, and I was just hoping that with the speed that I'd be able to slot in with a good position, and we did. And at the back, just before the 400, I thought, I'm going to get locked in here. And then to go to the pegs was open, so I went there, and then at the top of the straight, a gap opened, and he just let rip, and couldn't be happier.
Always knew she was going to be finishing hard, and that's exactly what she did.
Oh, she did, Robbie, yeah. Originally we didn't nominate for the race. We thought it might be a bit hard for her. The noms were pretty light on, so we were going to draw one, so we thought we'd put her in and see, and we're glad we did now.
Yeah, well, it worked out well. I mean, she's certainly shown that she can run some good times, and sitting off on the back of a good horse, a lot of times we see it, sometimes it can actually improve horses, and that's exactly what's happened here tonight.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's 5 or 6 in a row now that she's trotted. She seems to be on track now. She's been a headache her whole life for she either wins or runs last kind of horse. Butch has been very patient, and lately she's just sort of been in the zone and is trotting really well. So it's nice to see after all this time that she's finally putting it all together.
Well done.
Yeah, well, that's what he likes, Rob. He did no work at all off the gate this week, and you know, he just had to sprint up the straight. And as I said, when he hits form last week, he hits form and he didn't have to do any work, so he loved it.
He got in a good spot.
Yeah, we were lucky enough that I knew Lance wouldn't want to stay on the fence. I just had to hope I could create a gap to get 3 back the fence, and I was lucky enough to do that, and the rest is history.
Got there, Zach. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. You know, it's pretty special. Pete and Yvonne have been great supporters of my career ever since I started when I was 16. So, you know, to reward them with a good race win is something that means a hell of a lot to me. And, you know, especially Paul and Kari, I've grown up knowing them since I was a young kid. And, you know, to win a race like this for them is something I'll definitely never forget.
It's a very special moment for Paul because normally you're driving around in Kari's colours, and Paul, of course, trains for his mum and dad, and they had the male's colours tonight, which is the traditional Paul's colours, and I know goes back to his past generation of his family. And for Pete and Yvonne, this is their biggest win. We'll have a chat to them in a few moments' time, but it is a very special moment for the family.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Pete and Yvonne have been in the game a hell of a long time and gone through a lot of horses, and you know, they've won some nice races, but like as you said, this will be the best race they've won, and you know, for me to be a part of it, it's very special.
Jerry Maloney's bred a lot of horses as well, and I know he'd be pretty excited at the moment with this one too.
I'm sure he would have been more excited if she won the 2 Group 1s before the sale, but no, definitely. No, good on him.
Good to see him still racing with great zest, Chris. He's been an absolute marvel, this horse, and a beautiful drive and well presented by Brent Lilly.
Yeah, he's a lovely old fella. You know, he doesn't know how old he is, and he's racing full of zest. And you know, he's probably lost a little bit from when he was at his complete best, but you know, he's still really competitive. And when he gets a run like that, he's always right in the finish. Yeah,
you made your move. You were able to get outside Maori Law, which was really a good winning move. And when Into the Unknown came out 3 wide, you just got a gem of a card into the race.
Yeah, it worked out really well, and you know, the leader kicked pretty good at the top of the straight, and I was worried for about 1 stride, but you know, once I pulled the blinds, he just knuckled down.
Yeah, thanks very much, Dan. The Jack Australia Pace taken out by Lucky Lombo, trained by David Aiken, and Jason Lee, our winning driver, and Luke Stokey, our owner. We had some very sad news today. Luke lost his brother Paul at a very young age, and our deepest condolences goes to the Stokey family and to Anne, mum, and the family. I know they'll be absolutely devastated, and Paul certainly made his presence at the Trots. I know he used to come out quite often with Luke, and they absolutely love their harness horses, and very sad to hear that news today, Jason, and certainly our deepest condolences goes and sent to the family.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, this is only a race, and in the scheme of things, it's something very little, but I'm sure this race will be dedicated to Paul, and hopefully it can bring even only a little one a smile to the family for this terrible time. And it's pretty tragic to hear these things, and just goes to show sometimes things aren't so bad. And yeah, obviously just pass out my thoughts and hope that the Stokey family's going okay.
Yeah, and certainly we echo that from the whole harness racing world, as you mentioned. This horse, a recent addition to the Aiken stable. Luke, as we know, does claim a lot of horses and tries to keep horses in the system here in Victoria, and certainly he's got himself a nice little horse to race around and do well.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Luke puts a lot in, so it's good to see he gets good results, and he's had plenty of good results claiming horses and getting good results with Dave and Keema and Marika, and obviously they do a great job with their horses, and everything was sort of ran to suit tonight. And yeah, sort of Keema sent me a message earlier in the day and just told me what the circumstances were, and she said, I know you'll be trying anyway, but please just try and give him angel wings tonight, and just glad that this horse was tough enough to fight on and win.
It was just too good.
Probably be right. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Robbie. Yeah, he was really good tonight. His manners were much better. Scored up really good and come off the gate really nicely, actually. I was a little bit concerned being in the death when they were rolling along a little bit, but he's pretty fit now and he's pretty strong, and yeah, he went to the line pretty good. He knocks off a little bit in front, so Gav was coming, but I still didn't have to pull the plugs, and I'd say he would have picked up again when he saw Gav coming.
Got the job done.
Yeah, that's right. No, he did a terrific job in her heat of this series. Run very similar to what tonight's was. After travelling down, and she settled in really good this week. And they've done a great job.
Darren Ray, the trainer at Medowie?
Yeah, don't know Darren, but no, just got contacted by one of the owners, James Kennedy, and that he had this horse in mind, and he brought the horse down, and he's been in charge for Darren throughout the last week and a bit with the horse, and done a very good job.
Great drive by Chris Alford. There was plenty of pace on in the race, Chris, and you just sat back and came with a withering finish and staved off the challenges.
Oh yeah, she was a bit naughty at Warrigal and got put out of the draw, and it was probably a blessing tonight drawing the back row. The speed was really hot early, and she tracked into it nicely and let down really well.